Hello and welcome to your May 2018 Aries Taurus new moon. This is occurring on Tuesday, May 15th, right after the Sunday. We celebrate Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all, birth mothers, surrogate, and adoptive mothers. This is a day that is a beautiful celebration of life through the mother energy, that nurturing, compassionate, loving energy. And for those of us who have not necessarily experienced that in a consistent and loving way, this day can be extremely difficult. In fact, it can be even more difficult than the holidays around November and December. And so I want to remind everyone that Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck and readings are specifically designed for individuals who are experiencing mama drama trauma. These new full moon, quarterly, and lunar new year readings are specifically to assist us in remaining vigilant and understanding our divinity, that we do in fact have access to the mother of all mothers within us, that yin energy within us that we directly connect to with the lunar cycle. So you may not have MDT, but your spouse may have it, your in-laws, adoptive children, families that you've been adopted into, close friends. It affects us all, and it does spill over into all aspects of our lives. Co-workers, managers, people who have issues that we can really boil them down to telltale signs of MDT. I'll put the link below to the telltale signs of MDT that are posted on the Mama Drama Trauma YouTube channel. If you do have mama drama trauma, then you are experiencing some form of emotional or physical abandonment or abuse on a consistent basis as a result of your birth mother, adoptive or surrogate mother's inability, unavailability, or unreadiness, unwillingness to heal her own mama drama trauma. It is a vicious family cycle. So Great Mother has a special Mother's Day message for you. I will also post that link at the bottom in the links below. When this deck was channeled to me, Great Mother was very clear about wanting to connect with her children, most estranged and alienated from her due to our birth mother experience. Not about victimization, shame, or guilt. This is about aligning ourselves with our true identity as children of the Great Mother, Father, God. Because, of course, we cannot heal mama drama trauma on our own. We need to surrender to a higher power that is able to heal a wound of void as deep as that. And so the vigilance and remembering our divinity as being dearly loved children of the Great Mother, Father, God, who are never judged, condemned, or left alone, is a universal identity. But again, as Great Mother has shared with me, an identity that her children most alienated from her love need to know. And with that, from the mother of all mothers, now for the new moon in Aries Taurus. Pisces, Aries, moon sign people. This new moon is second house energy for you. Your Pisces is your sidereal soul astrology, which is a cosmological perspective of the cosmos. The universe is very omnipresence, is what allows us to use this astrology for our soul intuitive guide information, which comes from Pisces for you. You may also be Aries in the sidereal, so check the links below. Now, Aries is the western moon sign for you, which clues the soul into beep, beep, beep. shape where you are in terms of your emotional GPS system. That emotional GPS is especially important when we're talking about how the ego body, the physical form, the biography of the individual as we identify ourselves to be feels in the moment. And so it's like again, a GPS system for the soul to have those emotions, those emotional reactions, they're called in Western tropical astrology, which is the earth-centric, ego-centric astrology. Everything is seen from the perspective of the earth. And so that is uploaded to the soul, and downloaded to the ego is the intuitive soul information. You are approaching this new moon with second house energy. Taurus is in your second house. Aries is in your second house from Pisces. And the Moses card, living and learning the law, is how you are approaching this second house energy. Of course you would with this gut chakra first quarter moon card, this visceral response, the survival instinctual response to what you know, making a decision to face a challenge, which is first quarter moon energy. Now, I want to really focus on the fact that Uranus is conjunct the moon as well as Mercury during the time of this new moon. So after a 7-year stint in your moon sign, Uranus is now finally in Taurus and will be in your second house of Taurus for the next 7 years. You have had 7 years to know what you know about your identity, about what that law is. And what is the law? The law is ego soul alignment. That visceral gut instinctual antenna goes right up to our intuitive space. So the ego soul alignment that you have been working out and working through within your internal space over the last 7 years, Pisces, Aries, Moon people, has come to this culmination of the Moses card. Remember, Moses set his people free. The Israelites were slaves in Egypt, and he set his people free. You are setting yourself free. You have a new identity. You have a new attitude. You have a new self-perception, and you're ready to plant that new perception into the world, into the physical world, based on your new values, based on these new principles as a result of the new way of seeing yourself that you have. And you've worked through a lot with regard to that awareness. Your transformative opportunity, therefore, is in this new moon to go past whatever fears may be greeting you at this side of Uranus in Taurus. Now, remember, Mercury is also there, and so there's some communication. And so whether it's intuitive or in the actual physical world, you're getting some warnings about going forward with this new identity. Just as Dorothy and the three were confronted with this same sign, you go on past it. This is the throat chakra new moon card, and so it's really emphasized as a new moon card and also as your expression, which is what the fifth chakra is all about, our speaking, what we're hearing, and knowing what you're hearing as a confirmation of what you've been working through. Now, what Great Mother doesn't want you to overlook is the fact that this is all about you coming into your own understanding. This is the law of destiny and free will. The single yin symbol, which is that emotion that you are feeling, perhaps of some fear and apprehension, with the double yang symbol there, which is about acting on how you're feeling. And so this androgyne, this primal yin yang energy that knows that we are made up of both energies, and we can use both energies in order to fulfill what our destiny is, but it is our free will to do so. Great Mother's coming through, Pisces, Aries, Moon people, and she's encouraging you to use your internal powers, to use that internal Aries, Mars-ruled masculine initiative and intelligence that wants to fulfill what it came here to do. Another fifth chakra in the center of this third quarter moon, releasing what is not allowing you to follow through on what you have emotionally with this Uranus. Vedic doesn't really look at the outer planets, and so we know it's about emotion, don't we? It's in Uranus. What you've been downloading, what you've been receiving has been something that is supporting where you are emotionally. In other words, there is alignment that is occurring, and we know that because the heart chakra full moon card is the center of your spread. So although there may be some emotional fear here, there is heart chakra ego soul alignment. That Pisces, a feminine sign ruled by Neptune, another outer planet, is allowing you to have the full moon awareness of your ability to fulfill your own wishes. This is the card of Oz's throne that the Dorothy and the three stand before to ask their wishes, not realizing that all is already well. They already have everything they need to have their wishes fulfilled, but they have to go on the journey to realize that. They have to go and receive the power of the broom, the yang symbol, that phallic symbol, in order to prove to themselves that they have the yang, the masculine energy, to do what it is they feel is necessary to do. And it was an emotional issue for Dorothy. She wanted to go home. She wanted to go back to the farm. She wasn't talking about going to the inner space of the higher knowing home. She was talking about she wanted to go back to Kansas. And so it's all good. One space is not a higher space than another. It just has a different energy field. This is an energy field of density. And there are lighter energy fields that are beyond this field, which is why the soul has to, after a while, release this body, because it is a higher frequency. It's too heavy. Which is why sidereal astrology looks at a lifetime in terms of 120 years. It looks at a whole girth of information that the soul is wanting to methodically go through, over phases and certain dashas and things like that have to do with what the planets are doing. And for you at this particular time, Pisces, Aries moon people, we're looking at, Mercury at this new moon is in your second house as well. And so you're communicating. You have all this fifth chakra energy communicating what may be a challenging new way of living, and that you're having to share with people in your immediate environment. And so maybe you're asking them for help, and you're asking them for support, or you're asking them for understanding, and they can't give you that, because what is needed is for you to give you that, which is why self-mothering is your shadow card. Self-mothering is when Dorothy runs and throws herself on her bedroom floor after Miss Gulch has indeed taken Toto, who symbolizes intuition. And it's a root chakra full moon card, which says to me that you are ready to engage in some radical self-care at this time. And what perfect timing! What perfect timing with all this second house energy. And so your new moon wishes would definitely have to do with things such as I want to easily communicate my needs to others in ways that encourage them to support me. I want to establish boundaries that make my life stronger. I want to, self-mothering makes our life stronger. And everyone says they can't do it. They don't have the time to do the me time and that sort of thing. Why? Boundaries. So that's a perfect new moon wish for you. There are a lot of new moon wishes that are associated with Taurus energy, about comfort and pleasure and home and beauty and sensuality, just experiencing the five senses. I want to easily find the perfect massage therapist for me to release this tension in my body that's been built up since this Uranus transit, and now it's in Taurus. I want to just Just suck it up, and do that. That's in your shadow position. So that's something that you're not aware that you need right now. You really have, over the last 7 years, emotionally, through this moon sign, have been taken through the ringer. With being clear about some things, because you've also had the North Node, which is also another lunar aspect in the Western in Leo, which is where the collective consciousness has been. Can't you tell? And that's fifth house for you. So again, all of this expression, all of this kind of communicating and doing this in the last 18 months during the latter degrees of Uranus and Aries has probably caused a great deal of commotion, which is why we see the rage card here underneath Moses. Now remember, rage is suppressed anger. So you've been kind of, clocking up or, collecting grievances as it relates to this transition that you're making, and rightfully so. This is a root chakra waxing gibbous moon card, and so again, you've been going through changes, revisions of your perspective of yourself and of others, and other people it takes them a while to catch up with us, and especially when we're talking about our intuition. This is the scene when Miss Gulch actually comes to take Toto, and so someone is trying to say that you're not hearing what you're hearing. You don't know what you know about where you need to go and who you are anymore. You probably even heard that. Someone saying, well, you don't even know who you are anymore. Something like that. And it's just because you have changed. Your internal space has changed. That's why the moon sign is so important, is because it inspires the sun sign. It inspires the sun to act. Great Mother is the Holy Spirit that inspires the law of Great Father. And so this anger is inspiring an internal part of you to come through and say that, hey, you really need to take a beat and just take care of yourself right now. Because others that you may be projecting your need for comfort, nurturance, compassion, those Great Mother energies, they're not capable, they're not available, they're not ready to do that. And that's just the way it is. So instead of being upset about it, it's important that you acknowledge that you have the rage so it can be expressed. And how it needs to be expressed is by you taking care of yourself. Go ahead and establish those boundaries to take care of yourself, because the rewards are waiting for you just to act on it. Act on that yang energy. To do what you need to do you and take care of you at this particular time. It's very important with primordial father energy that you recognize the gifts that are available to you at the time that they're available. We are divine children of the Great Mother, Father God. However, we are also given the intelligence to be able to tap into that space, to work with the energies. And the more that we do, the more refined we get and more expert we get at working with them. This requires a great deal of humility, however, but I see that this is a challenge that you can definitely overcome with the Ra card. Ra is Great Father energy, the original, pantheon, the Egyptian pantheon, the father, Ra. Actually Ptah, but the universally accepted one is Ra, and so that's sun energy. And so we have Ra underneath the full moon, which is saying that it may take this lunar cycle through the full moon back to the waxing gibbous of the new moon in Gemini before you really kind of get the wheel going and clicking. It's been in your sign for 7 years, Aries moon sign people. So it's going to take a minute to kind of let everything click. And so Great Mother's giving you some direction and some guidance. I would go back and look at your lunar New Year reading. If I remember, I'll also put in the links below, but I'm trying to get these up for Mother's Day. Now, that's going to tell you exactly what this month is about for you. And this is just going into further detail from whatever card that you had for the month of May in your Lunar New Year reading. So I would encourage you, if this is sounding kind of off kilter to you, to kind of look at where this fits in, because this androgyne, the law of destiny and free will that you are fulfilling through honoring what you now know to be your true self at this time, and despite the fears going through with embracing your divinity, it's a challenge for you. But I think that by this first quarter moon, which is about 2 weeks after this new moon, you will consciously make the decision to face it, because there will be some seeds sprouting from your new moon wishes that will encourage you to speak those new values, because Mars is in your 11th house at this time. I think it will have moved on to your 12th house by that time, and so there'll be a release of some of this yang energy. But work with it while it is still in your 11th house during this new moon, with regard to groups and people and your public image and that sort of thing that may be, again, causing you some of this angst. Your final outcome is that either you are ready to face this challenge, another first quarter moon card, second chakra, and honor your sincere wants and desires, or you're not. Either way, it's fine. Again, energies rise and fall. They're just never exactly the same. So the Rhiannon self-doubt card is encouraging you to just question anything that causes you to doubt your divinity, that you are dearly loved, that you are never judged, condemned, or left alone. Just do that if you are not really feeling like you're in a place to own this new identity. However, if you are, Rhiannon is saying that you are not allowing self-doubt to run your program anymore. You are very clear about your new identity, and you're quite encouraged to progress with regard to it. Now, in this card, we can see that Dorothy is receiving a reading from Professor Marvel in his tent. And the outcome for you might also be a cautionary tale about reverting back to old ways of expecting others to have the answer. It takes us a while to get into a new groove, right? And so that's kind of what this reading is about. And that's why I want to encourage you to go back to that Aries Lunar New Year reading for you, because it takes us a little bit to hit the cycle that we need to kind of really feel what we feel and live it in alignment. That ego soul alignment, that heart chakra, which is in the center of your reading, is very possible for you this full moon. But this would indicate that what could be an impediment to that is an unconscious tendency to revert back to needing the approval of others in making your decision. And that is not a typical Aries moon issue at all, which indicates that for those of you watching this video, you have other aspects in your chart that may make that behavior or that internal tendency a default. Okay? So that is what Great Mother has for you, and she is really encouraging you to move forward with the information that you have about your life and its new prospects as it relates to others and what you really want. Move forward with that in this time and in this space in a way that is self-loving and that completely asserts your divinity. Remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too. For more information about Mama Drama Trauma, visit mamadramatrauma.info.